Awesome. We'll wait for everybody to connect. Welcome to another Wednesday Wisdoms. Super excited to be here. My name is Kylie O'Miller. For anybody who's new here, this is a segment through my KO17 Lacrosse app, usually for app users, but we are opening it up to anybody and everyone because I think what's so important about what we do is I like to sit down with a lot of my favorite people from the sport of lacrosse and from other sports and people who have inspired me throughout my lacrosse journey, and just kind of tap into who they are and what makes them so inspirational to me and to all the other people that they touch within their lives. So without further ado, thank you for being here. And I'm so excited to introduce our guest today, Kristen Carr, as we know, Cookie, aka Cookie. So I'm so excited to have Cookie here. She is someone who has really taken me under her wing throughout the U.S. national team kind of tryout process and training weekend processes, and for that I'm forever grateful. And I'm so excited that we've been able to kind of blossom this friendship, and I'm happy to have you here. So a little quick introduction before I kind of have Cookie introduce herself to the crew, and I know that I'm missing 1,000,007 things right now because she's a stud, but Cookie is a member of Team USA since 2008. She's been to 2 World Cups. She's a UNC Women's Lacrosse 2013 alum. She is now the new assistant coach at Hopkins Women's Lacrosse. Woo!
Like that.
Love that. Back in Baltimore. Love to see that. She plays for the WPLL Pride, and again, so much more that I'm missing, but I'm so happy to have you here. And Cookie, thank you for being here today.
Kylie, you're the best. It's a pleasure to be here, and I can say the same thing about you. You're such an incredible person, and I know we all grow just to be in your presence and learn from you. So everybody who's on the app, like, what a treat for you to get inside of Kylie's brain yourself. So I'm pumped. I can't wait to do this little chit chat with you and get going.
Awesome. So I like to always start this with a little segment I like to call Off to a Good Start. I think a lot of these interviews that you see, people just hop right into the questions. And I like to really just kind of dive deep a little bit and really know, like, how are you doing today, before we get into it. But we're going to ask three simple things. But first and foremost, I'd like to know something that you're thankful for today, Cookie.
I love that. So I would say that I'm extremely close with my family. I have 2 brothers. I'm right in the middle. My older brother's a year older, younger brother's 2.5 years younger. So we're super close, and without a doubt, always thankful for them. But I think now more than ever, I'm extremely thankful for my health, not just my physical health, but my mental, emotional. I think, we're all kind of navigating this crazy time together, and Kylie, you and I have had many conversations with that and our teammates, and feel like we're basically on a plane and there's a lot of turbulence, and we're like trying to figure out when it's going to land and who knows when or where, and we're just trying to like go through that as we are, and grateful just to have each day and really just the health and wellness of everything. So I know that cannot go more than appreciated, especially now.
That's for sure. I love that you put that like an airplane, because that is one of those feelings that just nobody knows what to do in. You just have zero control. And that's, I think, something that we've talked about a lot with Coach Jenny Levy and everything. Like, she's always said, like, this is something that is completely so far out of our control, out of everyone's control that's listening, and something so unprecedented. So I'm grateful that you said that, because it's so true. We're lucky to be able to be here and just do this and have our families and have our bodies and, just the little things in life, for sure. Yeah. Something that you are proud to say that you've accomplished today.
So I love your questions. I think they're awesome with this deep dive. I would say, Kylie, that I'm a planner. I love my planner. I like to journal. And every day I have a word that starts with my intention. It obviously changes each day, changes each week, depending on what my focus wants to be. Today was actually focus because I had a lot going on. I was in a bunch of different places, but I think that with us trying to train, but not really know when we're going to get back together, like, you need to have that focus, that day-to-day intention, but know something's going to come eventually. So I would say just being able to have an intention, live by it, infuse it in my day-to-day, and just at the end of the day, look in the mirror, say, okay, did I accomplish this? Yes, I did, and go from there. So not like a big accomplishment, but I think those smaller steps really eventually will get to the bigger one. So I would say
Absolutely.
that.
I love that. And I love that you said that you journal. I knew that already about you, but that's awesome to know for our listeners. That's another segment that we do through my app, because that's something that's special to me as well. I have like 12 journals on my nightstand right now. But I take it a little to the next level, but there's something on our app called Kylie's Corner, and each week we work on a different habit in our little journals. So
I love that, Kylie.
so I love that. We're gonna steal that for next week, and we're just gonna write down one word every morning. We're gonna set our intention for the day. It's gonna be next week. I love it. All right, last but not least, something, I mean, I know you kind of touched on this a little bit. Everything's really up in the air and uncertain right now, but something that you're pumped to go out and chase, whether it's tomorrow or later today, this week, in the coming months, in the coming years, what would that be?
So obviously for my role and what I do in my career, I coach collegiately, and we just found out at Hopkins that our students are going all online, which means we can't actually have that in-person training. So what I am chasing, or what I want to accomplish, I guess, is to have pace and to find or continue to find the joy and value in pacing myself. Because Kylie, I feel like as coaches and as competitors, we're like, okay, we need to do something and we need to do it now. And like, we have that urgency and we're always constantly moving. And we have to realize that this is really a marathon and it's not a sprint. And we want to make sure that we are, again, going back to that word intention, very intentional with what we're doing, but we're not completely like overdoing something right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that being a coach, I'm super excited for the fall, although I have not met my team yet. I've met them via Zoom, which has been interesting, as I'm sure a lot of us have. But I'm a huge relationship person, so I'm just excited to cultivate those relationships with my players and hopefully tap into a different side of them, probably that I might not be able to necessarily if we had fall ball, because as you know, like fall ball is really about like, honing in on your stick skills and all that stuff, lacrosse oriented. So maybe this is a silver lining in that standpoint. And then obviously training for Team USA and all that good stuff. I know that with us, we have our little virtual training workouts just about every Wednesday. And, it's not the same as being with you and being able to run next to you, but it's definitely keeps the excitement going and something that I truly look forward to, and just to kind of change things up a little bit. So I would say off the bat, those are like the bigger picture things that I'm looking forward to and want to chase every second of the day.
I love it. Turning uncertainty into something at least a little bit more settling, I think has been one of the main challenges over the last couple months. And I think it's something that, whether you're a collegiate coach like yourself or someone who's training for Team USA like both of us, or even someone at the youth level, a coach, a parent, anybody who's listening here, everybody's been having their own struggles over the last couple months. And I think just the biggest main overall struggle has been that uncertainty and not really knowing what's going to come and what life is going to look like and how long this madness is going to go on. But I think, just kind of finding that place where you can take that deep breath and be like, okay, there is something that I can chase every single day still. There's something on the horizon still. I might not know what it is, but it's going to be really fun to wake up and chase and find the people around you too. I love that you said that. For those of you who don't know, me, Cookie, and a couple of our other teammates, we like to get on Zoom every Wednesday morning, nice bright and early, like 7:30 in the morning. We hop on there, and Coach Jay Dyer gets on there, our strength and conditioning coach with Team USA.
You like to dance. Kylie teaches me her dance moves.
Oh man, it gets interesting at 7:30 in the morning. We wake up our neighbors when we're out in the driveway. But I think that's what's so special. You got to find your people, and even if you can't be, physically right next to them, like this works, you know, we just have this sense of family, this sense of community. And whether we're sitting here chatting about it or we're getting up and we're doing our Zoom workout and getting those dance moves going, either way, we know that we're kind of working towards a similar goal. So I highly suggest, like you said, to anybody out there to find your people and be able to connect with them any way possible right now while you're staying safe.
Yeah. And Kylie, off of that too, I just want to point this out because you said it without saying it. It's like we found our purpose, you know, and I think for a lot of us, we get mixed up when we don't know what that purpose is, but when we know what we're looking for and what we want to achieve or accomplish, you can work backwards and build yourself back up to get to that ultimate goal, which I think is super fulfilling and powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in a time that's not right, like right now, right? That's just like in general, you know, if you feel lost or if you feel like you don't know what you're doing each and every day, it's good to find those goals so that you can, like you said, work backwards. I love that you said that. I'm going to take that into my journal tonight. But see, look, we're learning from each every day. So, I mean, we know where you're at now, you know, at the absolute top of the sport, inspiring young ones and myself all over the place, your teammates, the people around you. You know, but can you tell us a little bit about your introduction to the sport that we all love, that we all are kind of here together, you know, because we love the sport so much? How did you get introduced? Where did you grow up? Did you play other sports? Talk about that.
Absolutely. So I am born and raised a Baltimore, Maryland girl, love the Crabs, love football, love all that Baltimore O's through and through. But I would say, so my parents, they played so many sports growing up, from football to basketball, swimming, all that stuff, never lacrosse. My dad is from like Western New York, mom's from Maryland. But again, neither of them really understood or knew lacrosse. My brothers and I had so much energy, and my parents just tossed us into rec leagues, like anything, softball, basketball, soccer, and lacrosse. And, you know, they really just wanted us to burn our energy. So when we would come back home, we would like go to sleep and not be crazy and bouncing off the walls. So I started playing sports when I was probably 3 or 4 and just constantly on the go. And, I mean, not much has changed because I'm still pretty much on the go, as I know you are too. But little by little, I just grew to love the game of lacrosse. I mean, it has the finesse with your stick. It has the power that you see in soccer players, as the speed and quickness in basketball. You have to work on your spatial awareness from clearing the ball in a soccer game to clearing the ball in the lacrosse game. You're working on your two-man offense that we worked on all the time in basketball, and the two-man game is huge in lacrosse. And, you know, that's not even going into defense, which is so similar too. And I played, when I got older, played soccer, lacrosse, and basketball all at a high level, AAU, ODP for soccer, lacrosse club. And I think that I would never be where I am now without having those experiences. Playing multiple sports, you get to learn from other coaches, you get to learn from other teammates, you get to put yourself in environments that are probably really nerve-wracking at first, but then you create this space where you can become a little more open to new experiences and just being a part of a different type of team. It's very humbling to be on more than one sport. We're not always good at everything, so you can kind of take those little pieces away and you learn to work on those weaknesses to become your strengths. So 100%, I think for any of the youngsters out there, if you have a chance to play multiple sports, absolutely try to do it. It's only going to make you not just a stronger athlete, but definitely build your character up. And I think as you get older, like those character traits of like resiliency and work ethic and grit are so important in any field that you try to do outside of your sport and obviously within that sport.
For sure. That's so funny that you said you played soccer. I played volleyball, basketball, and lacrosse as well. So 3 sport athletes, and I have so many of those similar answers to you. So that's why I was smiling when you were saying that. But it's so great that because you learn so many different things from different coaches and different people around you. And now that I'm a little bit older and now that we play lacrosse, like full time.
Yeah.
I find myself trying to find a volleyball league that I can get into, or like a rec basketball league or
I
something.
love that.
I'm looking around. I mean, a lot of times I get a little nervous because I don't want to hurt myself, right? But because I know that I would go way too hard. That's the competitor in us, right? We can't help it. But at the same time, I miss those sports, and that's where those memories and all those really awesome things come from that you mentioned. So I love that you have that same perspective. And I think, something that really also stands out to me, I've known you for a couple of years now, but something that really stands out, and I've heard from a bunch of us as well, a bunch of our teammates, a bunch of people in the lacrosse world, just, first impression about Cookie and every other impression from then on is that you're such a kind, genuine, caring human being, just an all around awesome person. And, I want to know, like, where does that mindset come from? Is it there all the time? That positivity? Is it something that you work towards each and every day when you wake up? Is it something that you're very aware of? Because I know that that's something, personally, it's something that I want to strive to be is a more positive person. I want people to, also think that about me, is that you're shedding a positive light on the people around you. And that's something that you most definitely do on and off the lacrosse field. So, just kind of talk about where that mindset comes from, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. That's very sweet of you to say, Kylie. And again, like, I would just throw that right back at you, because I do think you are sunshine, and you always like brighten other people's days too. So don't sell yourself short there. But I guess I would say that as I've become more experienced and just have matured, I have 4 core values that I really feel like I hold near and dear to my heart. I mean, core in Latin, just for a little school for everybody, means heart. So it's really just, I take a lot of value and pride in them. And one is joyfulness, one is positivity, compassion, and competitiveness. And I think that I really do live my day-to-day with those 4 in mind. And I think it's come to a point where I don't think about this stuff, it's just who I am. It's who you are, like whatever those core values are to you. And, I don't think every day is like rainbows and butterflies, but I do feel that if, for me to be who I am, I have to like reframe things if they don't sound right to me, or if it's not kind of like where I want to meet them. So if something, I don't want to say negative happens, but if something happens where it's disappointing, or you're getting feedback or some type of news, I try to take a step back, reframe it, observe what I'm thinking, and then respond instead of reacting in the moment. I think for me, pause moments are really important. And it doesn't have to be long. It's like you take a couple second pause, you breathe, and then you reframe that scenario so you can look at it in a different angle, and find the positive, or find the silver lining in that moment. I think I'm a optimistic person too, as you, I would say you are too, Kylie. So I probably have I don't know. I just probably have I like to see the light in things, and I always think there's good in people, and, you want to showcase those strengths in people and build them up. I think that's super important, because everybody has such great, unique talents and abilities, and you want to help them find the belief and confidence in themselves. And what better way to do that than to encourage them to shine brightly like they should. So I think that's also very important to me too.
Awesome. I mean, I absolutely love that you mentioned core values, and you taught me something there, as I'm sure our listeners as well, but I did not know that core meant heart in Latin. So thank you for that. That's my takeaway for today. This is we're only 22 minutes in, but that's my takeaway for today. But that's incredible. I think it's, like you said, it's something that you practice enough and you make aware of yourself, like aware in your journaling and all these things that you kind of, it's almost like like our physical training, right? Our conditioning, when you're running your sprints and you're trying to get your endurance up, all those different things that you're training in your physicality, it's the same thing up here. And it's the same thing with how you are as a person, and those kinds of values. If you practice them over and over and over again, you're almost conditioning yourself mentally as well, and into the person that you want to be. So I think that's so important, everything that you just said. And I think it's really gotten to you to where you are now. And that's what's really great about this. And just, I think, talking about where you are now and at the highest level, you know, you've played at the highest level, played lacrosse at the highest level at almost every level that you've played at, right? You played at one of the most prestigious colleges in UNC. You know, you won national championships, you won you won World Cups, you won gold medals, you've done it all. And I know you have more on the list to do, that's for sure. But, you know, can we talk about pressure a little bit? Because I think when we hear like playing at the highest level or doing something at the highest level, I think this next thing that comes to mind is pressure. And the next thing that comes to mind is, you know, like, you know, not messing up and making sure that we can handle that pressure and what it takes to get to that level. I guess, can you first talk on what kind of commitment and sacrifice it really takes to get to that highest level? Was it always a dream of yours? And, you know, just kind of talk on that.
Totally. Well, you know, like you said earlier, like, we're competitors. So did I know there was a US team when I first started playing lacrosse? No, I didn't. But I just found the love and the joy of the game, and I kept wanting to play, and I kept wanting to play all the sports. And again, like we talked about with that multi-sport athlete, one thing kind of bleeds into the other, which brings me to my next point. I think, you know, for us, like, how you do one thing is really how you do everything. And it's all encompassing. Like, I don't think we wake up one day and it's like, I'm going to train hard this day, and then the only thing we do is train hard. Like, we have a lot of other tasks that we want to complete, and we're probably going to do really well at those things too, because we just have that innate desire to want to be our best and excel in everything we do. So I think it started from like the love and the joy of the game. And obviously we had opportunities to play at prestigious collegiate institutions, and then opportunities to try out for the US team. And, you know, I think I owe a lot to my coaches to putting me in positions to succeed in that way. I owe a lot to my teammates that have helped push me to that point in my career. I mean, I don't think we would be where we are now without the village behind us. There's so many incredible people that are just constantly helping us grow and rethinking and learning and just developing into the best lacrosse player, the best athlete, the best person we can be. But I think when you get to a point where you're playing at the highest level, whether it's professionally, the national team, or your college team, high school team, whatever level that is, like, pressure isn't a bad thing. And I don't consider it bad. I think that, you know, I was reflecting on it as a coach and a player. I still get butterflies before every game. And I kind of enjoy that, because it shows that I still care about what I'm doing, and B, it makes me feel ready. And we've worked so hard leading up to that point, and have prepared so much that, like, when I have those butterflies, I'm like, okay, let's do this. Like, it's go time. And I think that pressure, you can see it in two ways, Kylie. One, external pressure, like the scoreboard, or internal pressure, like the pressure that you put on yourself. And whether we're talking about external or internal, like, the last thing we want to do is succumb to that pressure. We want to embrace it. And as we become more experienced in our sport, we learn how to manage that pressure that's unique to us, and how we can handle that and still execute at a high level. So, you know, when we're in those tough moments, like in a game, and you know very well what those big moments can be, but you become at a point that, you know, you're just so engrossed in the moment and almost possessed that everything is in slow motion for you, and things just happen naturally. But it's a byproduct of all the work you put in up into that moment. And that's where I said that, like, that pressure is really a privilege because it shows that you've worked for something. And that's important.
I love that you said that. I think it goes to show in a lot of interviews with athletes after they do something really cool that goes viral that everybody sees. And, you know, an interviewer will say to them, you know, what was going through your mind when you were doing that? And they usually say, I don't know, I blacked out, or I don't know what was going on. I was just playing. I'm not sure. And you said that perfectly, right? Like everything's just going in slow motion because you're just kind of encompassed in this bubble of pressure, but you're living in it and you're living in the moment. And it's so funny because I think anybody that's listening, if you play sports, you know exactly what we're talking about. There's always that at least one moment where you've been able to kind of experience that. But like you said, it's just that moment that you want to be able to embrace. And I think that's something that definitely takes practice with those situations too, right? Like your first pressure situation, it's most likely not going to go well unless you get really lucky, right? But the more you get into those situations, the more comfortable you are with them, just like a lot of things that we practice. And
100%.
I think that, you know, another thing that I think we think about at the highest level too, and at any level, is being afraid to make mistakes, right? Like, and I think as athletes, as lacrosse players, mistakes happen all over the fields, every single game. No one ever plays a perfect game. And I think it's a question that I get from a lot of my young athletes, as you probably do as well with your girls. And, you know, how do you handle making a mistake on the field and then being able to kind of bounce back and bring your team back into it?
Yeah. So I have two things to say about that. One, like if you look at fear, right? But you can flip the script to faith, then that kind of, that's personal to me maybe, but like that has helped me reframe a mistake. Because if I go out and I am so scared to make a pass, or I'm so scared to defend this top attacker in the world, or I'm scared to run fast, then that fear is always going to inhibit me from being my best or giving my best to my team. But if I can turn that fear into having faith in the process and just executing the best I can, then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I actually make a mistake, because I'm so in tune to what I'm doing in that moment and that process, where most likely the byproduct of the process is going to be success, whatever it is in that moment, whether it is making a pass or defending an attacker. And I think, Kylie, you know, we get to this point where we are playing on the national team, and you know, I think sometimes people think we don't make as many mistakes as we do make, and we know when we make mistakes. We definitely do. So for everybody listening, there is no such thing as perfection. Imperfection is perfection. But I think trying to find your reset button is really important, whatever that is. Sometimes I take my stick and I stomp the butt into the ground, and it's like pressing a button, and that's reset. Or crumble up a piece of paper, throw it over your shoulder. That's a reset button. And, you know, I think that you got to find what works for you, but know the more you harbor or hold on to that mistake, the more mistakes that will probably come from it. But if you can let it go and then get back into that optimal performance zone, you will probably be more successful, because you're having faith in the preparation you've done, and you're not focusing on that mistake that you previously made. And I will say, most times coaches forget about mistakes right after they happen, so don't dwell on it. They'll circle back eventually.
They always circle back, but they will forget about it for a little while. Depends on what kind of mistake it was. We're just kidding. We are totally kidding. But I mean, that segues perfectly into my next question, though, because you have such a unique, and I think a lot of us at this level, you know, so many of us who play professionally and play on the national team, also coach, right? In a bunch of different ways. Myself, I coach all different ages.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it because I get to see lacrosse, at the very beginning stages, just picking up a stick and starting to fall in love with it the way that you did when you first picked up a stick. And then I get to see it, through college, and these girls kind of absolutely loving the college process. And you get to do the same, and you get to work with these girls that are at some of the highest levels out there. What do you think that, it's such a cool thing, because you get to see the game out there on the field when you're playing yourself, and you get to train that way yourself, but then you also get to be on the coach's side of things. Like how, I guess, what are some of the things that you've learned over the process and over the journey of being both a coach and a player?
I think we have the best of both worlds, Kylie. We get
You're
to
right.
do it all. I would say that I heard this from someone I respect a lot, and I've taken it to heart, and I'll share it with you guys. And it's the saying is your influence is never neutral. And what I mean by that is you can either come into the room and light it up, whether there's one person in the room or hundreds, or you can turn it into darkness. And I think for me as an athlete and as a coach, that I know that wherever I am, and Kylie, you're the same way, it's like our influence is all over the place, and we definitely want to be that positive light and that positive influence on everybody we meet and everybody we're working with. And that's just really something that I've taken near and dear to my heart, because I know that it's so important to be that influence to the people that you're working with or the people that you're playing with. I think that I wouldn't be one person, or I wouldn't be a coach without being able to play, and I wouldn't be the player I am without having the opportunity to coach. I think you learned so much from actually teaching the game. You learned how to break it down, try to see how your players tick, what motivates them or inspires them, and how you can share the game in a different way, because we all know not everybody's that same individual. And the same thing as a teammate, you become way more knowledgeable because you're constantly like teaching it. So when you're on the field, you just have a different knowledge base of how to actually play and execute at a high level. And I think it's really cool for us, Kylie, because we're surrounded by such incredible, talented athletes, and the majority of them coach. So you're constantly absorbing all this incredible information and lacrosse IQ at our US weekends. And then you're like, wow, I thought I knew something, but you always take away something else at the end of the weekend, which is good. You always want to be a learner.
Yes. I always want to learn new information. I was just going to say, it's one of those sports that, like, there's no right or wrong way to play it per se, right? Like if you think about how many different coaches that we have, just on the national team, right? So like you said, at the training weekends, you go there and there's so many coaches who have so many different perspectives from not only the college teams and the teams that they played for growing up, but now the teams that they like, the things that they've learned, and now they're pushing out to the girls, the next generation of girls that they're coaching, and the things that they see from their programs. And then there's this whole other side of all these other girls who have had a whole different, upbringing and a whole different experience, a whole different coaching kind of way about doing things. And it's so cool because when it all comes together, you're learning this and that from the other people, and then you're able to bring it back. Yeah. I think that's so cool about what we do. You bring it back and you're like, oh, well, to my girls, I learned this awesome thing from Cookie the other day. And then, your girls are kind of like, wow, mind blown. And, I was mind blown when I heard it too, So I think that's what's so cool, is that we're constantly learning, and that's what keeps us so invested in it. That's what keeps us so invested in our sport. And that turns perfectly into exactly what I wanted to talk about next, was the future of our sport, right? There's a lot of really awesome things happening for lacrosse right now. Obviously it's an uncertain time, we talked about that a little bit, but we're still pushing through. And I think that what's unique about our sport in this day and age compared to other sports is that we're doing a lot of the heavy lifting as athletes. And I just, I think I know this answer, but I think it would be awesome for our listeners to hear from you, you know, what you want to see from our sport, and what I guess your personal goals are to be able to see from the sport of lacrosse in the coming years, and to be able to look back when you're, you know, 80 years old and be able to say like, yeah, that's women's lacrosse. We
That
did.
was us.
Yep. That was us. Just like, that's our sport, you know, like this is where we deserve to be. Like, where do you want to see us?
Yeah, well, hopefully we have a couple on the screen with us right now that'll be filling in our shoes down the road, which would be sick. I see that smile on your face, Catherine. But, you know, I think we all have such an affinity for wanting the best of our sport and putting lacrosse on the map, not just in a national scale, but on a global scale. Nationally, I'll kind of bring it back to the U.S. I think that, you know, us working and playing in a professional league and trying to figure out those next steps for the professional league is so exciting, because it just gives female athletes the opportunity to play lacrosse post-college if the national team doesn't work out. And we always go back, like, if you have an opportunity, at least you have a chance to do something. So I think that is an awesome first step for a lot of our aspiring lacrosse players. I think that from an international stage, getting lacrosse into the Olympics would be killer for so many different reasons. I know, fingers crossed for that. We're shooting for the 2028 Olympics, which are be hosted in Los Angeles, California. There'd be a different discipline for lacrosse, but nonetheless, the actual sport could potentially be in the Olympics, which would just get so much more exposure and visibility, would allow multiple different countries to come in to play that sport. And it really would just increase the awareness that lacrosse is very exciting. It's fun. It's fast. You have the finesse of the attackers, and you have the, you know, the athleticism and the speed. And I just think that, our biggest downfall, Kylie, is that, like, people just don't know what lacrosse is. So I think our goal is to just bring lacrosse to the world in whatever way we can, so people can really enjoy it how we enjoy it. And I'm sure we could talk about this for days, but I just think that there's so many incredible things that could happen with our sport. And, you know, once we kind of get through this time that we're in right now, and we will get through it, we'll be able to really, you know, get on that top level of like where soccer is for the U.S. national team with soccer, and ice hockey and sports like that. So
awesome. I love that. I mean, I think it's a similar goal of a lot of us, and I think that, you know, anybody listening who knows anything about us lacrosse players, I think you can kind of tell that from a lot of what we do. And I think that that's what's so special. Again, it's just like a big community, a big family. That's what's cool about the lacrosse community. It's something small that's looking for something so great and so much larger. And it's exciting. It really is. But, you know, you mentioned the national team a lot, and I know that, you know, it is most definitely the biggest honor in the world to represent and to be able to wear USA across your chest, doing the thing that you love. You know, I think you touched on it a little bit before, right? Like, when you first started playing lacrosse, you might not have even known that there was a national team. It was the same for me, right? It was just like you fell in love with the game, and those steps kind of fell in order. And then it was, I want to play at the highest level. I want to represent my country. You know, can you, now that you're here, right? Can you talk about what it's like to win a gold medal? I mean, like, that had to be insane, right? Talk about that.
Yeah, of course, Kylie. So I played on the World Cup team in 2013 and 2017. Both U.S. brought home the gold, which is super exciting. And I mean, playing on the national team, it's sometimes it's like you can't even put into words the feelings you get for being able to represent your country and something that you love to do, and you just want to put, you know, your heart out there. We're all competitors and we all want to compete at the highest level. We want to achieve excellence and greatness as a team. And I think that you truly never know how good you are until you're battle tested. And we definitely are battle tested during our training weekends and practices. And that preparation has led us to be able to, when we play international competition, to be successful. The 2013 World Cup and 2017 World Cup were very different. 2013, we had a little bit of a lead, I guess, going into the final seconds. So that was really exciting. We knew exactly kind of what we were going to get to at the end of the game once that whistle blew, and sticks are flying, you're jumping into people's arms. It's like the culmination of more than 4, but particularly 4 years of lots of blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak. And in 2017, that World Cup was in England, and I think there was like a heat wave or something because it was so hot. And then that last game, the gold medal game, it was lightning storm, thunderstorm. We were out in the warm-ups and we had to go back into the locker room, and then we had to come back out, like complete downpour. People are like slipping and sliding during the game. It was a little closer than the previous World Cup. And nonetheless, like when Devin had the ball at the end of the game and she threw it up, like everybody ran and basically dogpiled on her. And it's just like moments like that where you just take so much stock in that moment because it's so special. And I'm actually getting chills thinking about it right now, because how much work and time and effort that you put in to wanting to be your best and give your best to your teammates. So when you're actually able to say that you are a world champ and you did this with so many other girls that are that have truly become your family, it takes it to a whole nother level. And it's something that we will always hold very close to us. And it's just an incredible feeling. And I'm excited for next year in 2021 with, having the world champions being in Towson, Maryland, which is so cool that it's in the States. And, no home country has won the world championship. So I think that's a really cool, I guess it's more than cool, but it's a really exciting time to actually, be able to defend the gold medal and keep it back in the States where the actual world championship will be played.
I love it. You gave me chills too. Absolutely. I think any American would get chills from a story like that. It's kind of like a miracle story. Favorite movie over here. So I mean, we talk a lot about lacrosse. I mean, it's pretty much our job. It's our everyday. It's our passion. But outside of lacrosse, what are some things that you're passionate about? I mean, I know that you are a dog mom to Callie.
Yes.
The cutest little thing ever. What kind of dog is she again?
She's a Bernedoodle, 8 months old, I think. She was in here a little earlier, but she walked away.
She's over that. Oh my goodness. But yeah, like I think it's important for people to know that yes, we are lacrosse players, we are coaches, we absolutely are super passionate about lacrosse. But like you said, we have influences in so many different realms, and we are people as well, right? Like, so what makes up Cookie outside?
Yeah. Bring you guys into my world right now. So I would say that, I love traveling. I know that has been put on a halt right now, but something that you may not know about me is I had an extra semester after my eligibility was exhausted for lacrosse, which essentially means you can't play lacrosse anymore. You've played 4 years, and unfortunately, you have to move on from your college team. And during my senior year, I was debating between trying out for soccer at Carolina or studying abroad. Again, I'm a huge soccer player and always wanted to play at Carolina. But I think, I had an opportunity to study in Greece. and I was in Greece for 4 months studying abroad. I learned how to speak Greek. I was on the Acropolis almost every single day, or the Parthenon. Like, I traveled with my classmates to Crete and the Peloponnese, traveled all throughout Greece, and then we're able to travel just to different countries like Italy and Spain, and it just really opened my eyes because I had never really been out of the country before. And I learned a lot about myself. I went there without knowing anybody. And I think, talk about being uncomfortable, like to go across, the globe to a different place and just not know a single soul, that definitely, takes a lot of guts, I would say, but it teaches you a lot about yourself and what you can do. And, I think that piece is something that really helped me grow. And then, fun fact, one of my friends who played basketball at Carolina got drafted to the Greek team, and he lived 15 minutes away from me. So I brought my friend to see him play basketball in Greece. And so we had a little Carolina connection there, which was fun.
What are the odds of that?
I know. So crazy, right? Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Of all the places, like, we both were in the same country, just right down the street from each other. But I would say traveling. I definitely got into pastries when I was over there, and I still have a love for pastries, like croissants and crepes and anything.
Ooh, crepes are one of my favorite. Wow, I haven't had a crepe in a long time. You just
so good. Oh, you got to make some crepes, Kylie.
Yeah. On the dessert list tonight. I don't know.
Seriously, sweet, salty, I don't know. It just kind of depends on what you're in the mood for. But yeah, so traveling would definitely be one. I love a lot of different things. Love being with family and friends. Doesn't matter what we're doing, as long as we're doing it together. I love hiking, running. Trail running is something that I've gotten really into. I feel like you and I have talked about that a little bit, and you've been doing some trail runs recently, which is so cool.
I rolled my ankle. Yes.
Oh, shoot. Did you go too fast on the turn?
I don't know. I think I was, like, usually you look down on the trail, right? Because you're kind of like, you're all over the place. There's sticks and rocks and things. And I looked up for like 2 seconds and I was,
oh, shoot.
I'm
clumsy.
You gotta look down. Not like that.
Just tape your ankle. You go back out. You're fine.
You're good to go.
Oh, man, Kylie, sorry about that. What'd you say?
I said, always pushing me to be better. You're good.
yeah, totally. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I love reading. I'm actually reading. This book might be boring to some of the people on the app. Sorry, guys, but it's called Personality Isn't Permanent, and it basically just goes into if you want to be somebody, like, you can be that person. Doesn't matter what type of personality test or label you have been at that point. You can always grow and always expand who you are to become that person that you feel like you're capable of becoming. And I thought that was just really unique, because you think like your personality is fixed in a way. But I think the more we're learning about everything, that there's so much out there, like, just about having that growth mindset, always developing yourself and really pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. And that book's been very interesting to me. Love podcasts. I know you do too. Love them.
Yes. I was just going to ask about that. I think we kind of always connect anytime I post about a new book that I'm reading or a new podcast or all these different things. A lot of times, I've read a bunch of books of different athletes and their stories. I just find their stories so, it's interesting to read athletes' stories because we are in similar situations, but everyone's got a different journey. So it's very interesting to take things that are kind of similar from, maybe a Drew Brees or an Abby Wambach, right? Or like all these different kind of players and people that we've looked up to for so long as athletes, and know that there are similarities there. Mm-hmm. But I think, what are some of your favorite books or some of your favorite podcasts that you can share with our listeners?
So I recently read the Kobe Bryant book, Mamba Mentality. Have you read that?
I haven't read it. Wasn't able to get it, unfortunately. R.I.P.
Oh, dang. I got it on Kindle. So
Cool.
it's
Okay.
all over the place. But read that book, I guess in June, maybe May. And I mean, as you can tell, it talks about Kobe Bryant and his mentality and how much he was a worker. But not only that, like just how much he studied, like the people he was playing against, so he could like outcraft people that were really good at their craft. And his intensity in watching film and just getting to the gym and like just mastering his craft was impeccable. And like the discipline that he showed going up to the gym, whether he won a championship or didn't, it just I was amazed by his desire just to be his best, and then also his desire to give back to like the newcomers in the NBA and wanting to share his knowledge and everything he's learned with them. So that was a really incredible book and pretty easy read, I would say. Podcast. Ooh, I love Laughter Permitted. Julie Foudy.
You said Village before. Did you mean Dope Village?
Dope Village, yes. Got a Dope Village.
Yeah.
Love that. She's awesome. I've actually had the absolute pleasure of meeting her. I've worked a couple of her Julie Foudy Leadership Academy camps with Jen Adams and Dana Doby and Taryn Van Thoff, who are 3 other really incredible lacrosse coaches and people and mentors. But Julie runs she runs the soccer portion and we run the lacrosse, and there's different things that you mix and match throughout the week. And she's an awesome, awesome woman, leader, person. Like you could sit down and just talk to her about anything. And so like having the chance to meet her and then also listening to her podcast, I feel like I'm in the room with her and I'm like, yes.
Yes, Julie, right? Like you just feel like she's your friend.
Exactly. Oh, it's so true. But
that's a good one. Yeah, that one I find myself, either driving or if I'm like on a walk or something, whenever I'm listening to it, I'm always smiling. And then I look around and I'm like, oh, people are looking at me. Like, why is she smiling? What is she smiling? But I think that's so cool. It's it's all these people that we look up to. It's a cool way to see, into that, right, into their everyday lives and into all the really awesome moments that they've accomplished, because she interviews so many incredible female athletes.
Oh my God.
And so many of them are just, like people like you said that you just want to be friends with.
Yeah.
And hopefully one day we can be just like Julie Foudy.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Hey, I think it's called Laughter Permitted for a reason though. So if you're walking around with a smile and you're laughing, then it's doing its job, right?
That's true. I guess it is permitted for me. Okay. Awesome. Well, we're going to keep the laughter going just to finish out the last 5 minutes here.
Yes.
We have just a few questions from our KO17 Lacrosse. Put a little sticker on Instagram here. And 2 of them are kind of funny. So, where did the nickname Cookie come from?
I was in a cookie eating contest and I just crushed it. No, I'm just kidding. I wish that was the case. I actually got the nickname from playing soccer.
Okay.
Again, soccer was the first sport I've ever played. It was something that, I thought I was going to be like the next Mia Hamm, Brandon Chesney, and Julie Foudy, whatever you want to call it. Somebody in the 99ers. But regardless, I think I was 5 and I was playing on an under 10 travel team. So I was the youngest person on the team, very tiny, but aggressive. And I think I'm still pretty aggressive. So that piece hasn't changed too much. And somebody on the team just started calling me Tough Little Cookie. And since then, like Cookie just stayed with me. And he's here to stay. So it's, I guess it's a cool story. It's not, but I do love cookies. I will have to add. I do enjoy.
I was gonna say we had that question in the chat there. Does Cookie love cookies? How could you not? How could you not? And our girl Kaylin asked, "What would you say is your spirit animal?" This is a fun question.
Oh, my spirit animal. Gosh, that is a good one. Okay. Oh my gosh.
right?
Yeah,
I
that's kind of stumps me for some reason. I feel like there's pieces of animals that I would love to like
like if you could morph
morph.
animals together, it might
Yeah.
have like wings, but then a beak, and then like a really long giraffe neck, and then legs or something.
Yeah, totally. I mean, who knows what that would actually look like, but I think we could we could try to figure that out. We're hybrid. It's a hybrid,
There
multiple
you
hybrid.
go.
I think okay, so at first I'll tell you too. At first I was going to say an eagle because I think the aspect of flying and being able to see everything from that type of view is really unique because we see everything from like just a little bit above ground level where a bird or eagle like it's seeing from that bird's eye view, and I think that perspective is really cool, and then you can get to one place to another super quickly, and it's a pretty tough bird, I would say. And then the second one, I love elephants. Like, I love elephants. I think they're so cute and friendly, and I mean, they're pretty loyal from what I've read, and I think I can say that I'm a loyal person. So, and I just like they're just so cute. So I would say elephant.
I love it. You know what's funny is I was gonna say eagle for you. So it's funny that you said that.
Oh, look at that.
I don't
Yeah.
know. You know when sometimes you like look at someone and you're like, okay, like if you had to think quickly, like first animal that they make you think of.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Callie girl.
Callie's coming to visit. Hold on, you
She
guys.
is.
This
She
is my
heard
little
she heard
Bernedoodle.
animals and she was like, I'm here. There she is. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's attacking me.
Getting so big.
I know.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh. Okay, so we're gonna finish this up on a little last segment that we like to continue to keep the laughs going, but I like to call it quick finishes. A little
Go for it.
for me. But we're just gonna go with a speed round. All right.
Okay.
We're gonna finish nice and quick. So ready? 3, 2, 1. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
One thing on your bucket list.
Safari.
Favorite band or artist?
Ooh, anything country.
Pizza or tacos?
Pizza.
Best place that you've traveled to?
Greece. Or
Favorite,
Italy.
or Italy. Favorite moment in your lacrosse career?
Sorry, say that again.
Favorite moment in your lacrosse career?
Winning a gold medal. And I'll say being surrounded by you guys.
Aw. So sweet. See, I told you guys. So sweet. And last but not least, what's one thing you have learned from quarantine that you're going to take into life post?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Feel like any moment, you just want to make the most out of it. I think we've learned most recently that without knowing, like, something could be swept under your feet and completely change your life and change your world. And going back to those pause moments, it's really important to pause, but also be grateful for the time that you have doing what you love to do, staying with your family, and just being able to find the joy in everything that you're doing, and never take anything for granted. We all know that we would wish we could be out on the lacrosse field. We wish we could be with our teammates and, coach and go back to school and all that stuff that we're used to doing. And it's not necessarily, there's protocol and we have to follow the protocol, but knowing that has been taken from us, we really want to make sure we're grateful for the moments we do have. And that lasting memory is really important as we continue to ride this sad and navigate it together.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Cookie. I mean, I think that myself, I took so much wisdom from tonight's talk, and I always do every time we talk, every time we get on our little workouts, or even every time we're just chatting about a podcast or a book or another documentary that I got to go watch. But I'm super grateful that you took the time out of your super busy schedule to come hang out with us and just share your wisdom, share your experiences. Because I think it's so important. You've seen so much in the lacrosse world, and I'm super, super, super grateful for you taking me under your wing and on all these training weekends and beyond. So I'm grateful to have you as a friend and as a teammate, and I can't wait to get back out on the field together. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Kylie. I love being here and hanging out with you guys. And there's really no place I'd rather be than here with you. So I appreciate you inviting me to hang out with your crew. I love it. And I just have to say this, I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible, and it's unique, and I love that we have some viewers on there, and I hope you guys are taking all this information from Kylie. She's one of the greats, and I think that she has a lot to offer you, so keep smiling and working hard just like she does, and we're gonna get through this time together, and we'll be back together sooner than later. So I've loved being here. And go USA. We got to do a go USA in there.
Always. Go USA. Yeah, US.
What are you wearing there, Kylie?
What?
What are you wearing there?
Oh, little Alex Haas. It says do better.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, check it out. It's
shout out to Alex Haas. I love that. Is that her sweat company? Sweet sweat thing?
Yeah, the Sweat Life. Yep.
Yeah.
It says it on the back somewhere, but tie-dye, and it's a little do better. I love it. I love the saying. I love having something on my t-shirt that says something where you're walking around and it makes somebody do a double take, and it's like, yeah, you read that. Do better, right?
Okay. I saw something.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Cookie. Everybody, thank you for being here. We'll see you again next week, and I hope everyone has a lovely, lovely week. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Thank you again, Cookie.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.